What's good, y'all? Welcome to another video. Welcome to the channel, An Outsider's Perspective, where we talk a lot about politics as well as the culture war, amongst other things. And today I want to talk about this YouTube Shorts video that I saw. It was a little clip of Angela Staton giving a speech at a rally. Now, Angela Staton, for all intents and purposes, Angela Staton is a Republican who is a big Trump supporter. At the same time, she's a pro-lifer. You know, these three things go hand in hand anyway. So Angela Staton was at a rally where she was kind of like tearing Mackenzie Scott a new one. Now, for those of you who don't know who Mackenzie Scott is, I'm pretty sure you all know who Jeff Bezos is. Mackenzie Scott is Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, and she's what, $55 billion. Now, she's being ripped a new one by Angela Staton King, and I just wanted to show you guys a clip of this because it really seems like she's destroying Mackenzie Scott, and I have my reservations about this video, which I will share later on after I play you the clip. But before we get into any of that, I want to quickly urge you guys to help me out by smashing that like button down below. It's massive help. Because of your like buttons, I think I'm starting to get a bit more views, and I'm really appreciative of every single one of you that has been helping your brother out. So don't forget, if you do like this video, don't forget to smash that like button because it's massively important. It does help me out. And yeah, I'm going to get over this shadow banning thing. So thank you very much. All thanks to you. Anyways, guys, without further ado, let's jump straight into this, shall we?
Bezos' ex-wife, Mackenzie Scott, for her generous donation to Planned Parenthood last month. She gave them $275 million for black women to have abortions. Wow. As a black woman, I honestly can't think of any other way she could have helped us. All that money just for us to lynch our own babies in the womb. That's one way to make sure black babies aren't being born. Call me crazy, but I thought they said Black Lives Matter. It seems to me Black Lives Matter until a black woman gets pregnant. I've said that, Angela Staton King. You know, I've always wondered what the Bezos would do with all of that money Amazon made during COVID while the rest of our businesses were shut down. It's really nice to see how much they truly care about us black.
So let me talk about this. Let's talk about this for a second. Now, first of all, when it comes to Mackenzie Scott donated $275 million to what? Planned Parenthood. Now, in the sight of a lot of black people in America, whether they be conservative or whether they be liberals or they just support Democrat, because most blacks that I understand in America have more conservative values than they do liberal values, but somehow vote Democrat. How does that work out? Go listen to Malcolm X and you'll know. Anyways, whether where you stand, whether conservative or liberal black people, there is this consensus that Planned Parenthood is responsible for a lot of abortions that have been happening in the black community. So they blame Planned Parenthood for the abortions that happens in black community. Now, for those of you who don't know the records or the data or statistics of black women committing abortion as compared to maybe white women and other races, well, let's just put it this way. Since 1973, since the Roe v. Wade became a national constitution and now has been overturned, which is driving a whole lot of people crazy, and we're seeing a whole lot of meltdown. Well, since 1973, over 63 or 64 million babies have been aborted. Guess what? 38% of that happens to be black people, as compared to 35% of it that happens to be white people. Now, some of you would say 38% as compared to 35%. Well, that's not that much difference now, is it? But the difference is that black women are only 6% of the country, whilst white women are probably, 30-something percent or thereabouts. But in any case, the ratio is for every white woman that has an abortion, there are 4 black women that have an abortion, because it is 28 black women out of every 1,000 that has an abortion, as compared to 7 out of every 1,000 that has an abortion when it comes to white people. So I can understand that, the facility that these black people are using to have these abortions might be blamed. I can understand that, right? So this is the thing. A whole lot of black people are holding them responsible. They are blaming Planned Parenthood. I've heard Kanye West talk about this. Even Candace Owens has talked about this. They're all blaming Planned Parenthood for what is happening to the black community. And the number that I'm talking about of the babies that have been aborted is pretty huge. So much so that it has stunted the growth in terms of rate of growth, in terms of the percentage of black people in America. It has stunted that growth big time. When you're talking about 26 million babies in 50 50 years, imagine if only 10 million of those babies were born. They would have been grandparents by now. And if they had like 2 or 3 kids, they would have, those 2 or 3 kids might have had 2 or 3 kids. So given, let's say, most of them survive or something like that, I think that black people would have, increased as far as much as, Hispanic in terms of the population rate. So let me put this in better context for you. Since 20 or 30 years ago, Asians have increased in population rate from 1% of America to about 6%. Hispanic have increased from 9% or thereabout to about 18%, 19% now. Black people in the last 20, 30 years have been stuck between 12.9% to 13%. What do you think is responsible for this? Abortion is a great part of why they have been stagnant. Now, there's also this racist history of the establishment of Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood used to be known as, birth control. And the essence of birth control was, or the person that created it, Margaret Sanger, happens to be a racist who was advocating for eugenics. Eugenics includes them trying to eradicate or eliminate the weeds of the earth. And the weeds of the earth were considered as people who had disabilities or faults. And black people were part of the people that were considered as people who had disabilities or fault, probably because of our complexion. So if you had autism or any disabilities whatsoever, the general idea of eugenics was to not allow you to be born. That's why they created birth control facilities to stop those sort of babies, if they can be detected in the womb, not to be born. And so they also encourage a lot of black people to not have kids as well. They trained black doctors, or they suggested that they train black doctors to actually encourage black people to, because if they were to use white doctors, black people being superstitious and back then might not give in to that. So till date, black people are still having more abortions than anybody else. So it could be related to that. The eugenics also advocates for same-race marriage, something that some of these black voices, like your Amazing Lucas, who happens to be a YouTuber, as well as Uma Johnson, Amazing Lucas listens to Uma Johnson a lot, is advocating for that black people should only marry black people. Every other race can marry themselves. Funny how this is the same thing that white supremacists asked for, or we're actually advocating for. These were the basis of the Jim Crow laws that you had back in the days. No interrace marriages and whatnot. That's the exact same thing that some of these black voices are asking for now. So do we call them black supremacists or what? But anyway, that's a story for another video. So these are the reasons, and the backgrounds as the reasons why Angela Staton is actually saying, if you wanted to donate money to something, why not donate it to something else that helps black people? Why donate it to something that is detrimental in terms of population growth to black people? All right, so I had to finish this video at a later date. Now, I gave you all guys all the background, all the reasons as to why black people can blame, Planned Parenthood and blame white people because of the racist background of Planned Parenthood, and knowing the effects of abortion on black people. Why would white people still continue to be donating to them, or why would Mackenzie Scott in particular donate such a huge amount to Planned Parenthood, and that, she's searching for the detriment of black people? Well, to that I will say this. First of all, you're blaming the wrong people. You are blaming the wrong thing. Planned Parenthood is nothing but a tool that can be used by both white people, black people, Hispanic, and everybody else. Black people to choose it a whole lot more than every other race. So can you blame Planned Parenthood for being Planned Parenthood? Because in as far as I'm concerned, Planned Parenthood is just a facility that can be used, to have abortion safely. And there will always be women who want to have abortion. It's unfortunate that black people are choosing to have abortion more than every other race, but it is what it is. Second of all, you are saying that she could have donated to better things. She did donate to other things, albeit more of liberal, albeit more of liberal causes, but she has donated to many other things. Now, when you are talking about she could have donated to a cause that helps black people, she doesn't owe black people anything. And this is what you need to get in your brain. Nobody owes black people anything. You can talk about reparations all you want, but the world has moved past that. Take a look around you. You're no victims anymore. Take a look around you. You're not even in the oppression Olympics anymore. The LGBTQ group has taken over that. They are the focus now. You're no longer the focus. So you can boo-hoo, whine, and cry about why people not doing this for black people, why people not doing doing this for black people, but ain't gonna change nothing, but actually cause more detriment to you. So when it comes to that, you weren't there when she was having a nasty divorce with her husband. Where were black people cheering her on when she was having that divorce? Y'all weren't there. Y'all weren't there when she was slaving around with her husband, trying to make Amazon work and make this money. Y'all weren't there when they were poor. Then all of a sudden they are rich and they suddenly owe black people something. Nobody owes you anything. Nobody, not Jay-Z, not LeBron James, not Will Smith, nobody. You guys have to do something for yourself. And that's where the problem is. A lot of these people are scared of actually pointing out where the real problem is. And the real problem is this. It's two sets of people that are to blame for the level and the rate of abortion in black community. First of all, the first people to blame would be black women.
Just for us to lynch our own babies in the womb. Lynch our own babies in the womb. Lynch our own babies in the womb.
Because they're the ones taking their legs and walking to the facilities of Planned Parenthood to commit abortion. Nobody has a gun to their head. They're the ones doing it by themselves. Now, what's the reason behind this? A lot of people are making excuses that the contraceptives that are being used in black communities are maybe bad and worse as compared to those that are being used in the white communities or given to white people in the white communities. There is no proof or evidence of such. The real reason, and this is my own opinion, you can argue against it. The real reason why there is so much abortion is because there's so much unwanted pregnancies in the black community. And what's responsible for that? What's responsible for this unwanted pregnancy leads me to the second set of people that you are to blame for this. And in order for me to be able to break this down to you a little bit much easier, I need to consult the words of the great philosopher Cardi B on this one. She said, certified freak, 7 days a week. Whereas P word makes that pull-out game week. Yeah, that pull-out game week that is being glamorized in that song is what the real problem is, in my opinion. It's unprotected sex. And you can go online and you will find tons and tons of black women who talk about this, that they have unprotected sex with multiple men, right? It is one of the key factors here. Sex education is another key factor. There are many other factors that could be found out. Rather than blaming other people, blame the real people responsible, which is black women who are going to go and commit this abortion and black men who are not using contraceptive and have a very weak pull-out game. It is what it is. But the problem is when you call out these people and say, this is the problem. Black people are the only ones who will tell you that you're a sellout for actually pointing out a flaw in a community, right? As far as I'm concerned, this whole thing, blaming Planned Parenthood that is just a tool, is wrong. Blame the real people who should be blamed if you want to blame anybody or blame nobody at all. So stop blaming it on other people because white people ain't God. White people don't owe you. White people don't have to do nothing for you. If you want change, you have to start the change within the community. Messaging within the community needs to change. There has to be a different mentality. There has to be a different approach. You cannot have the same approach and expect a different result. But it's unfortunate when it comes to black people, when you have the approach of reproach towards certain actions that are not supposed to be part of the black culture, they'll tell you you're a coon, you're a sellout, and all the other names in the sellout book, right? At the end of the day, who suffers for it? Nobody else. You can sit down there, boo-hoo, whine, and cry that nobody cares about you. You can talk like Lucas, who says, this is an example of anti-black racism. If you don't sit up and talk about your community as black leaders and speak about how you can make changes, create standards that even your forefathers had, recent forefathers, Malcolm X, Joe Louis, and all these other people, Martin Luther King, they all had standards, right? If we don't make that the black culture that should be glamorized, don't start doing that and encouraging that in the black community, amongst many other things. I'm not saying that's the only solution. There's so many things that we can have a conversation about. We're going to remain in this vicious cycle where we complain about white people not doing things for black people, at the same time saying white people are evil and you're just not going to get anything done. It's never going to change. Vicious cycle over and over and over again. So let's really focus on the real conversations and stop playing politics with people's heads and people's minds, because both the right and the left, they do this to you without you even knowing. And you would think, hey, what Angela Staton King said was base, but at the same time, to what use is it? I'm going to stop here now and, let you guys ponder over this. You can go ahead in the comment section below. Let me know. These aren't popular opinions. I don't give popular opinions here. I give you my own opinion straight from the heart. I don't have any scripts or whatever. This is just straight from the heart. So let me know what you think about this, where I'm wrong or whatever. And if I'm wrong in any way you can prove it, I'll stand corrected in the comment section below. Anyways, you guys, if you like this, please smash the like button down below. It's massively important. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video, whenever that is. Anyways, take care, peace, and Saya's out of here. Bye-bye.